So where were you when Ollie Watkins stuck that goal in 91 minutes?
I was on the terrace of my home.
On the terrace?
No. I'm joking. I was in my front room with a couple of cats cheering, and I was extremely excited. I'm one of those irritating people who doesn't know anything about football, but when we have international tournaments, becomes obsessively fan-like,
it's good.
Wears an England shirt and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was an extraordinary night, and I tell me, because you actually know about football. Tell me about the game.
Well, I mean, so I listened to the first half on Radio 5 Live in my sick bed because I had a terrible stomach bug. And then so exciting was it that I dragged myself downstairs and watched it, and had heard on the radio, and I believe the first half England were absolutely fantastic. Phil Foden was mesmerisingly good. That suddenly it looked like a team that was playing like a team.
Yes.
That had found some connective tissue. Now, how much that is to do with the way Holland were playing and the space Holland were allowing England to move into, how much of it was to do with the fact that this is what now the fourth, fifth game, and that they were gelling and finding a way, I don't know. But the second half I came down and it was like I suddenly found myself watching this tedious stalemate for half an hour. And then Southgate did what they said Southgate couldn't do, which was made a stroke of tactical genius.
A proper decision.
Took off Harry Kane, who clearly is labouring for some reason, psychological or physical, and took off Phil Foden, who, like I say, had been the brilliant standout star of the first half, and brought on two players, Cole Palmer and Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa player. And apparently Ollie Watkins had said to Cole Palmer before they came on, right, this is it, mate. You're going to assist me and I'm going to bang it in. And then 5 minutes later, that's exactly what happened. And it was so un-English-like because it was a performance that England had controlled. And apart from, I mean, obviously you're playing one of the best teams in the world, so they're always going to have their moments. But England looked the better side, I thought. They had a really dodgy penalty gifted to them after a superb opening goal by the Netherlands. They had a penalty that I didn't think was a penalty, and watched in the replays afterwards and said, nah, there's no way that's a penalty. But anyway, we got it. But to finish it with not just a fluky thing or a sort of flash of brilliance, but an actually brilliant technical football move.
Yeah.
Was so un-England-like, I thought. But there we are. We're in the final now, And
Keir Starmer, as he indicated at the beginning of the show, in our clip, he's very excited, and he's going to go to Berlin.
Interesting. I was asked by Alistair Campbell, asked me this a couple of weeks ago before the election.
Yes.
Should Keir Starmer go to the game?
What did you say?
And I initially I said, well, maybe not, because you don't want to be seen on a jolly. There's so much to do. But I think now it would be mad if he wasn't there, wouldn't it?
Do you find it? I mean, I tell you what interests me as a total amateur in this sort of this cultural sector is that the disconnect between the huge political upheaval we've just been through and this tournament has been, up till now, Starmer going, total.
Yeah.
Whereas 96, 97, Euro 96, Skinner
election,
and 3 lines on a shirt and Blair ripping it off, and that it all felt of a piece.
Yes.
This the connection to me feels almost negligible to zero.
Yeah,
and I'm puzzled by that.
Well, I thought one of the things I wanted to say to you is that I think this win will lift the national mood, etc., and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
If we win.
We win,
really super presumptuous.
If it does come home.
But that would have been totally wasted on Rishi Sunak.
Well, it's a funny counterfactual, isn't it? Because if indeed he had, as everyone expected, waited till October and November for the election.
Yeah.
The idea that Rishi Sunak would be going to Berlin this weekend.
I don't think it would make any difference to him.
I mean, one can just imagine him. Sorry, we're already exhuming the political corpse and dragging it around the market square, but I feel we should.
Left it too late.
No,
really.
I think it can't be done too often, because there's a lot of nonsense being talked about. What an honourable exit.
I want to talk about that, actually.
And all this rubbish about if only he'd acted like he acted. We foresaw this.
Yeah.
and it's happening, and it must be
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah,
right?
the guy is
he's
never
a
mind what he says and his
Yes.
stupid dispatch botch.
Anyone can say once they've
gratuities.
lost,
No,
I'm
no,
very
no.
sorry I lost, and
No,
you
no,
know.
no. And they said the same about Theresa May, and they said the same about Boris Johnson. You know, these people have sunk this country.
Yes.
That's all that matters, not
Yes.
the bloody departure speeches they make.
Anyway,
Anyway, back to the football.
No, but I mean, I would have feared the hex that he would
Yeah.
have brought upon,
Yeah.
the bad vibes he would have brought upon England as he stood by them. So I'm glad it's not
He'd
him.
have dropped the trophy.
But I am, as I said, I am puzzled. It's not a big thing at all because they are in the end separate. But there doesn't seem to me to be any connective tissue between this amazing. I mean, you know, look, we're in the final, you know, we're in the final in 2021, and the Lionesses won in 2022, and so we're in the final this time, and there's been a big change of government, and there's an atmosphere of, if not hope, then at least of change, and you know the new government's made a good start, and Starmer's on the international stage, and you know, but there doesn't seem to me to be any
joy.
Well, they all I'm saying is that the two things seem to be running on parallel tracks.
Do you think we are a little less joyless as a nation?
A little more joyless.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yes, a little.
Yes, I do.
More joyless.
I think that
joyless.
the 90s were. They had good sides and bad sides. I mean, one of the things about the 90s was I think that we were so overjoyed by the end of the Cold War and the end of quite hard times. You know, long Tory rule and Clinton replacing long Republican rule, and you know, and the liberation of Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, that we kind of let our hair down in the 90s, broadly speaking, and it was natural for, you know, Skinner and Baddiel and Ian Bruce to write a song that became a sort of second national anthem, and the two were connected, and they remain connected. But I think that's right. I think that we remain. I do believe our and I say this as a total amateur, but I think our love of football, the way we gather in football, remains untainted and an amazing thing. And it's no accident that Dear England was such a bloody big hit.
Yeah,
because
James Graham play,
involves everyone.
Yeah.
But I think politics as a space where people gather to express their hopes and dreams has radically shrunk since '96.
And by the way, the National Theatre must be breathing a massive sigh of relief because Dear England's about to come back in September, I think. Imagine if we'd have gone out last night.
Keir England.
Oh.
No, I mean but I think you've put your finger on it, which is that our expectations of the public sphere, with good reason, have really, really plummeted since 96.
I wonder if you're right about the nation's love of football being untainted, because I mean, obviously we're still a massive football fan nation and all that.
And women's football has become such a huge thing.
I just wonder if there's too much of it now, and that the level of excitement is. I mean, you know, as you were talking there, I was remembering '96.
Yes,
it's not that long ago.
No, it's
I
not.
remember the whole nation and the press and everybody were going absolutely berserk for it. You know, berserk, and obviously that had its downsides with high levels of expectation and recriminations and all of this business, but there hasn't been that level of excitement. Maybe, you know, obviously there will be now, but there wasn't even that level of excitement in the final against Italy, I didn't think.
No, I agree. And I suppose that's true. And I suppose all I note as an outsider to the game is that when I look at people at the football, I feel optimistic.
Right.
When I see their love of their teams and their love of their country, but in a way that's patriotic rather than nationalistic. And the passion they pour into it. And the sort of neuralgic you know, contortions they go through in the game. You know, my two boys, you know, it really matters to them, you know.
Well, I mean, as I've said on this podcast before, it's your football team, if you're blessed enough to have one, is the longest relationship. The longest relationship you'll have in your life.
I mean, your relationship to Liverpool FC is
from the age of 7 onwards. It's
in your DNA, isn't it? Right. Now, I think that's a beautiful thing, right? And I think that has got lost in a lot of other areas of our lives, which is that we used to have all these allegiances and loyalties, and I don't mean of the bloody Nigel Farage type. I'm not talking about keen Rotarians.
But happy tribes of
happy tribes and things we did, and politics was often grafted onto that. It kind of grafted itself onto those groups.
Yeah.
Or it had a social dimension. I mean, the famous, but not entirely untrue, stereotype of, 1950s stiffs all going to conservative social clubs to find implausibly someone to marry them. Now that is not what happens at conservative clubs now. It is, if indeed they have such meetings. What I find very uplifting about football and the game is that it seems, which was not the case when there was so much hooliganism and there is still, I know, some racism, but that there is a sense of it's us at our best. That's all I'm saying, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I love watching it. I'm not a fan. I don't follow a team during the season. My kids do passionately, but when I watch it and I watch them and I see the crowds of people all over England in all these settings,
it's
going
unifying.
Crazy.
It's unifying.
And I don't know if I heard it, I think it was on the newsagent, someone mentioned it. Because everything is now digitally streamed, there are lapses, sometimes of only a few seconds, between when a set in one or a screen in one gets it. And so I heard next door for the final goal, this absolute eruption, and it was still, the ball was still in play on that, and I thought, I think we've won. And then the goal came through. But it's that the digital lag is a new feature.
I get that in real time, in living very close to the Arsenal stadium, is
because
I hear the roar from the Emirates. And then I see the goal going in about 10 seconds later on Sky Sports.
It's an age in terms of it's a very funny phenomenon because you can sort of follow by it's like lightning and then thunder following. It really is. But anyway, so
look,
this is going on Friday, and we've discussed some bleak stuff on this episode, but fingers and toes crossed for the mighty Lions on Sunday in Berlin.
I think we could do with it, and it would be.
We could do with it, couldn't we?
And I think you'd have to be of a very cynical nature to say, that Starmer's lucky to get this. Never mind politics. The nation. I've spent lots and lots of time in Argentina, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you that is a nation on its arse, and it's divided, and it's full of political bitterness and hatred. But when you see that country come together over football, it's something magnificent.
And look, I mean, instrumentally speaking, if it helps Starmer lift this country up,
great,
that he's there on Sunday and we win. That's not the main thing. I just want England to win, right? But I don't begrudge him that at all.
No.
You make your own luck to a certain extent. What was it, Arnold Palmer, who said, "The more I practice, the luckier I get." I don't think Starmer is just about luck.
I think that's true. Although I think it would be,
he has been lucky.
It would be stretching it to correlate his.
No, of course not. Although he is, I think, the first Prime Minister since Gordon Brown who cares at all about football.
That's true. Yeah. Well, Blair always pretended to, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Newcastle, amazing. Incredible.
It's like he's in the room.
Jackie Milburn, amazing. She was such a good singer. And Brown is a fanatical. Was it Wraith Rovers he supports?
Is it? I honestly don't know.
He takes his football very seriously.
Yeah.
But Starmer, as we've heard endlessly, is not only the son of a toolmaker, but a keen eight-a-sider. So there we go.
Well, anyway, good luck.
We wish him and them well.
So good luck, Gareth Southgate and the boys. Hope you bring it home on
definitely
Sunday. And talking of Sunday, we'll be back with our special
Q&A will return.
Q&A session. Get any questions you've got into 2mats@tnepublishing.com. That's the number 2. matts@tnepublishing.com, and that's what Mark Isha did, who says, "You may be interested to know that as a consequence of the election, there is now not one single top 92 English Premier League or Football League club that is in a constituency with a Conservative MP."
That is a fun fact.
That's a great fact, isn't it?
It's a good fact.
It's probably a consequence of there being barely any Conservative
There are so few
MPs
Conservatives
anywhere.
that statistically...
But that is crazy, that, isn't it?
It is.
Wow, okay. Thank you for that observation, Mark. So get that episode and all of our episodes when you hit follow on your podcast app. And please remember our subscription offer. Head to theneweuropean.co.uk/2mats. There's a link in the show notes. Thanks as ever to producers Matt Hill and Ollie Peart at Rethink Audio. And until Sunday,
It's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.